Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audiblepodcast.com/Sorgatron Media. Over 75,000 titles to choose from for your iPod, iPhone, or MP3 player.
I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said now. I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said.
Hey guys, it's the AwesomeCast. It is on like Donkey Kong. We are here. We are lonely this week. Rob De La Creta is, of course, out on assignment. But he should be returning next week, Chachi.
Really?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay.
But also with me behind the board is Chachi.
Behind the 5s and 6s.
Yes. No, I wasn't trying to repeat it from last week. But
the 9s and 12s?
The
14s and 17s?
The 7s and the 42s. And maybe.
I'll take it.
Yeah, acceptable? That is acceptable, sir.
We'll take it.
But of course, this is the show where we talk about awesome things, technology, social media, stuff online, the internet.
Yes, the internet.
The stuff we love to talk about.
The stuff that we
we may have a guest here if he's stuck in traffic.
Yes.
Mr. Will Rutherford of ThoughtfulRiot.com and the Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Yes.
We might have
back on you.
Little. Yeah, this is I'm the one talking.
Yes.
I can actually. For those that maybe saw my Twitter, we have a new. I can actually see what Chachi's doing, so I'm going to be looking down here a lot, so I can see.
He's
if the
going to be
camera's on me and
babysitting me.
Yeah, instead of these, usually we have the chat room up, and it's like the delay and everything. But
yes.
We're working through it. It's working out pretty good. That's pretty nifty.
You want to give them the contact information?
You know what? You can email us.
Yes.
You can email us at contact@awesomecast.com.
People have been emailing
They
us.
have been. You can also give us a call at 724-25-ACAST. That's 724-252-2278.
2278.
2278. So there's that.
There is that.
So, that's, wow, I'm used to having more introduction.
I know.
Because we usually have more people.
Right.
So, everybody is involved in everything else this week, it seems.
We are busy people.
Everybody's busy people, but you know what, in trying to get everybody for this week, I think I've lined up a pretty decent guest list for every week after this.
Yes.
So, look for some pretty awesome stuff coming down the line there.
We're getting awesome.
All right. First we had again great show last week, episode 50.
I don't know. I missed half.
You had missed half of it. You did walk out. I
was working. I got paid.
You should
for
go
walking
back.
Out.
That's true. Probably more than I'm paying you. Almost definitely more than I'm paying you.
Yes. Definitely more than you're paying me.
So. We got a comment about last week, Father Spoon from ShouldIDrinkThat.com and Uncle Crappy Mike Pound.
Yes.
By the way, big shout out to Crappy for including me in his article. He did one about Skype being bought by Microsoft last week. So I got a couple quotes in there. So fantastic. Great show, guys. Father Spoon was a great in-studio guest. Love that Mike, I imagine Pound, not me, had to say about the future of newspaper business. Most papers face certain death if they didn't get with the times. No pun intended. Love the show. Very laid back. I'm here on the left coast, but I feel the sense of community you guys have there in Pittsburgh, and I admire it. Cheers, Phil from, and I believe the site is myLifeIsAFoodie.com.
Ooh.
Yes.
Spiffy.
He gave us a link. Page 1 inside the New York Times. Looks like a documentary that will tell this story very well. I did this in the wrong order. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
So there's a little bit of it there. It's up on Apple Trailers, and it looks interesting. It looks interesting. I'd be curious to see
I don't
it.
know.
But I'm not going to see it in theaters. I'm not much for documentaries in theaters. But when it comes to Netflix, you better believe.
Oh, yeah. I'll watch everything on Netflix.
That's right. You
and now
I
can watch Netflix anywhere,
anywhere, including
the toilet.
The toilet. Yes.
So this week, Netflix and HTC hashed out a deal.
No, not just HTC.
Shut your mouth.
Okay.
No, you're right. Netflix on Android devices.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 devices that they've they've figured out so far.
Yes, we got the incredible, the Nexus 1, the Evo 4G, the G2, which you have, yes. And then there's the Samsung Nexus S.
Yes. And let me bring it up.
All running 2.2 and 2.3
yes.
respectively.
Let me bring it up, and I'll show you. That's it connecting. Hear that?
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that right over my microphone. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, calm down. But yeah, it's still loading because I get terrible reception in your basement.
We just get on the Wi-Fi, man.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I like using my data plan to see how much I can rack up and not have to pay.
That is almost like a goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I like I want to get. I'm paying that much for another data plan on top of what I pay at my home.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that bar is as high as possible. Well, for me, I have an unlimited data. What's your data plan? You got 2 gigs or something?
No, it's unlimited.
You got unlimited?
Uh-huh. That's why I try to see how high I can go.
It's just like, how much can I get out? How much juice can I squeeze out of my data plan? It is like kind of like a geek cred thing. So, but if you don't have those, there is a possible hack to enable Netflix streaming on other Android devices. I believe this is a phone, a root thing. So you can check that out. We got that linked over at delicious.com/awesomecast.
Yes. Where you can catch all of this awesome news.
Yes.
Let's see.
So you're still loading?
It's actually
now, how's the quality? Now, have you been watching most of the stuff over the data plan then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's the quality been?
Oh, at first, when it first loads, it's shaky.
Yeah.
That's because it's just buffering and getting caught up. But after that, it's like watching it anywhere else. Let's see.
Yeah, and I've been impressed with how it performs on 3G myself. Because I know I was I think I was watching Battlestar Galactica at the time, and I was always show up way too early for work, and I just kind of sit in a parking lot and watch Battlestar.
Well, it's not going to let me load it because I'm in your basement.
Oh, well, there's that. But it's been pretty good to you so far.
Yeah, let's see. I watched the first season of The League, mostly on my phone. About a third of which on the toilet.
It's the new thing. Like when you talk about Riz FA is his name. He changed his Twitter name. We had a discussion on Facebook about the games you play on the toilet.
Yeah.
That's going to be a new thing. It's like, what series have you watched solely on the toilet? Yeah. And it's the next step.
Well, you ready to laugh?
Huh?
Because I just started Roseanne.
Yes. I saw you were tweeting the other day. You were excited that all but 6 episodes of Roseanne are on Netflix.
Yeah. And I don't know why.
You know what? I've seen that before. There's episodes of Sliders. There's episodes of, I think, Quantum Leap I've seen that weren't on Hulu and Netflix. And there would be a little note that they were for music copyright. They couldn't get the rights for streaming for the music copyrights. Of course, you can still get the DVDs.
Right.
So
I don't like to show that much.
I think it's... Yeah. It's I think it's one of those things where they just don't have the rights for the streaming for the music. Just like we'll talk about this later. Like WrestleMania just happened, and they have a Metallica song at WrestleMania. If you watch the pay-per-view,
right,
for the one intro, it's not going to be on the DVD.
No,
they had Enter Sandman on a DVD a while ago, or on a pay-per-view a while ago. They didn't pay for the rights. It's Metallica. They don't want to pay for Metallica on DVD, apparently.
Well, that's because Metallica costs a lot of money.
Yeah, that could be.
Anyone that mastheads an attack against Napster,
that's right,
it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah. So, anyways.
But
hey, Chachi.
Yeah.
Don't throw your Chromebook in the river.
I'm not going to. For several reasons.
Several reasons?
Yeah. One, I'm not going to buy a Chromebook.
You're not buying a Chromebook?
No.
Well, I'm wondering who is, and I'd love to hear some opinions on this. So, the Google I.O. was happening pretty much mid-show last week. We talked about a lot of the Android stuff, the new ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream sandwich.
Ice cream sandwiches. Which I don't know if I knew this before and forgot it. Did you know that those names are in alphabetical order?
No, I didn't.
Honeycomb, ice cream sandwich. You just go down the line, and they're in alphabetical order apparently.
Cupcake, froyo. Yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
it's like it dawns on you. It's like hurricanes. Yes. But that's a Linux thing. Because somebody, an old friend of ours was talking about, I think he had Debian Linux, and they would always name them after Toy Story characters, but I think it was in alphabetical order.
Huh.
So.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, us nerds will find entertainment in anything.
And apparently they're hungry nerds over there at Google.
Well, I would hope so.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Well, they just want an excuse to have a giant statue of ice cream sandwiches. That's amazing.
Don't you?
That's amazing. Yeah.
If you could have a giant android in shape
I had
and color,
more money than I had to deal with. Yes, definitely, for sure.
But I mean, seriously, if I were Google, I'd have Android shaped all of these.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah. Plus, when you own the world, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's a pillow underneath the ice cream sandwich so you can take a nap. Like it's like a clubhouse. It's so big that they have rooms and you can go hide.
They're just big kids over there at Google. It's amazing. It's amazing.
They're
very, very smart kids.
It's not
that
just
don't
Google.
drink Baja Blast. And
you don't know that.
I don't know that.
But
if I was at Google and I was smart and could pass that math test, I would love my Baja Blast whenever I wanted to.
Right, but you also wouldn't be tripping over wires in the network room.
Yay, my neck beard.
Exactly, but no.
This is becoming our. This should be like our meme.
Neck beards.
I've actually been tweeted a few times. I think I talked. I think I was talking about my issues with Verizon went down last night for me. It was just my router goes out every once in a while. Reset is fine. It's weird. I had done it for a while. And somebody actually, Bobby FJ, is he FPGH now? Bobby FPGH on Pittsburgh, on he helps us with the Mayhem show.
Yes, on Twitter.
He's from out in Johnstown. So like anytime I say that something's down, like somebody like him says something about Baja Blast. And I love that people are latching onto that.
But it's like, no, but all these huge technology companies, they don't have offices anymore.
Yeah.
They have campuses.
Yes.
Because it's buildings long or buildings big and buildings being multiple buildings.
Yeah.
In at least their headquarters. And even in remote offices, they're more than just your workspace.
Yeah.
I know the Pittsburgh Google office, don't
they have a ballroom or something? Norm Hillsman was out there.
The one out in Moon?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Is it Moon?
I don't know. It's out that way.
I don't know.
They have one downtown. I don't know if they still have the one out there. But there was one outside of the city, and it had personal chefs, a laundry room, a sleep room, a gym, a daycare.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
you know why they do that. I mean, if you're like somebody like with Google, you're passionate about coding or whatever it is that you're into, you got hired for, I would hope so if you're doing it that much.
Right.
And to the point where, they make it easy that if you're like, I kind of would be okay with doing this 24 hours, they make it as accommodable as possible,
Well,
It's like the Pixar story we watched on Netflix.
Right.
I mean, it was they have Nerf guns and stuff, but it's not like they're putting work in. That's I've been working on this one scene in Blade of Grass for 6 hours. I need to go
blast him in the face with a Nerf gun.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's the play, but it's the release. You know what I mean? Like, and they're not refined to it, but you know what? I bet if you ask most of them, they're like, this is what I want to do. I'll do it to get the stuff done because I love doing it.
Right.
I would love to do, if I could support it, I'd love to do shows like this, all the time and live off that and spend ungodly hours down here in the studio. We would have to expand a little bit. Maybe we could put a pool table over there, Chachi. Maybe,
a kegerator.
I think we can install a slide from the kitchen down there. I mean, you make it amenable, so it's easy to get the work done that you want to get done.
Right. Listen,
your fun work.
If you're making Google money, you have to put in Google time.
Yes, that's Google money, Google time,
and you don't even care because You work for Google.
So I think the moral of this story is if we want this show to be successful and that we can do this show as our full-time jobs, we have to put awesome time into awesome... Wait, how did you put that again?
What?
To to make Google money.
Oh, if you're making
time.
Google money,
so
you
for
put
us
in
to make
Google time.
Awesome money, we have to put in awesome time. I think that's a good.
Right.
That's a good note for life, sir.
Well, it's a strong business model.
It's just, yes.
If you want your employees to be dedicated and to put in those long hours and be happy about it, and I hate to say it this way, you have to show them the money. The money has to be there.
That's true.
And not only that, but you have to incorporate an awesome work environment.
There has to be reward. I don't think it has to be just money. I mean, there's a lot of guys that'll do the stuff they do. All the stuff I'm doing, it's awesome that I'm getting paid for it, but I would be doing it anyways. I did these shows for a long time before there was any spin-off to be able to make some money in any of this business or talking to clients and whatnot, but I would be doing this anyways because I enjoy it,
Yes, but you've also had to work other jobs while doing it.
Exactly.
But if we were making awesome money to put in awesome time, this would be what we're doing. There would be no other jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we would come here, hopefully not here, no offense, but I mean, if we're making awesome money, and we wouldn't
be in this awesome basement.
Yeah, we'd go to a better building, and we would put in our 12 hours in an actual building.
I think we can introduce our guest who just came in. You sound like you're out of breath, sir.
I ran all the way from downtown Pittsburgh.
You liar.
I did.
Will Rutherford from ThoughtfulRiot.com, a co-host of Wrestling Mayhem Show, one of the founders with me.
That's true. All those things are very true, and they did happen.
Yes.
What's up, hot dog? Hello. Hello, AwesomeCast listeners and viewers.
You're holding them. We'll have to adjust that for you a little bit there.
It's okay. It's all right.
Just rest it on your gut.
So, we were just talking. How did we get into that? We were talking about...
We were going to talk about the Chromebook.
The Chromebook?
And then
Chromebook, horrible idea.
You think it's a horrible idea?
I think it's the worst.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
no, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Somebody mark that time.
7:23.
7:23. All right, we'll put that in the notes.
Okay. I think it's a horrible idea. I think it's a horrible idea for the regular consumer. If businesses are looking at using it, I think it's a better idea for them. But for the regular consumer, pay the same amount of money and just buy a laptop.
But you know what, though? Let's explain for people who haven't heard. Chrome OS, talked about before, it's basically if you took your Chrome browser, that's the operating. It's like, put full screen. And that's all you can operate in?
Yeah.
And that's why we have our web apps, the web store that Chrome's been doing. You look like you're putting your arm around me there. It's interesting.
I am.
Give him a hug.
I'm playing with his hair.
Give him a smooch on the cheek.
Give him a smooch. Say that for the other show.
I really like this live.
This is a little new here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I keep looking down at it too, so instead of the camera. But it's there's the CR48, I think. Yes. That they had out for press that you could apply for. Those are the tests for it. They have new models from Acer, Samsung coming out. $350 to $500 for these things.
Well,
and then they also have for businesses and for students plans. You can get a 3-year agreement paying $20 or $28 student and business respectively a month. And basically that includes customer support, tech support, stuff like that. You were subscribing to the machine that the machine will work,
right?
For that period. It will be more, but I think the business, it could be a thing, like this kind of thin client sort of thing going on.
Well, and that's why it would work. For businesses, like Will said, it's great because you can't screw the machine up.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what businesses need. The problem with it, though, is it's just Chrome. And
Okay.
mainstream businesses, I know for a fact that it would fail in my firm.
Because you depend on Word and
Exactly.
Office and everything. You're built off Microsoft.
Yeah,
Mine too.
we're Microsoft.
That's the thing.
Central.
I think this is going to be for businesses that are. I want to say more. I don't want to say more forward thinking, but open, not locked into Microsoft. I guess you could say. You know, because they have to adopt like the
Right.
Google Docs.
And I'm not.
And everything, which is fine. Although there is the Office Online stuff, the
No,
Office
wouldn't work.
360. You don't think that would work?
Wouldn't work.
You looked into the Office 360?
I just know it wouldn't work for us.
Okay, what now? Explain. Can you explain a little bit what is it about your methods? You work in a law office, of course. You're IT for them. Just for people that don't know, what is it about how they function that something like this wouldn't work with?
It would kill our network.
Because everything's going over the internet.
Everything's
okay.
online. All of our networks are WAN based. Like outside offices are WAN based, which means most of the resources are in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So, yeah, like a lot of our connectivity is based out of Pittsburgh, which means it would kill everything.
You say your connectivity is based out of Pittsburgh. So now,
as far as network resources,
this wouldn't do anything with, it's just that connection with Google to store all those files.
Right.
Is basically your issue.
Right. It would kill our network.
Huh. Interesting.
Now,
Yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think this would be, granted, I do work for a relatively, it's not new media that I work for the definition of old media.
You work for, we can say, a local newspaper.
I work for I work for the Post-Gazette. That's
okay.
fine.
I didn't know if there's a,
No, it's,
because I know Crappy was a little, I don't know if I want to say who I work for right now.
I don't care.
He didn't tell us who his wife works for. That was interesting.
But yeah, I totally agree. And especially for Chachi's company, that's going to bring up a lot of security questions because there's little to no storage on these things. It's all in the cloud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I think there's some security if you're a company, because there are companies that subscribe and pay for Gmail functions, Google Docs functions. I think they have more security on it and there are more guarantees on it. Just like you supposedly have more guarantees if you get business internet, right? Sorry, Chachi got a kickstand on his new thing.
We'll talk about it
We'll get
later.
to that. Okay. He's been playing with the kickstand. Props to the 404. Anyways, but what about, maybe this is something for newer businesses.
Well, it's not only that.
Okay.
Because if you know me, my favorite job so far in my career is working for the library.
Okay.
A nonprofit organization. I got paid
You
well.
worked in the basement of the Carnegie Museum.
Right.
That is awesome.
I worked in the basement. I wore whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
I worked whenever I wanted. And I liked my job. Like, it wasn't money central. Like, it didn't matter how much money the company brought in that month because there was no money coming in that month. It's all government funded.
No pressure. No pressure.
No, there
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's
It
great.
was so laid back, no stress, and it was perfect. Now, thin clients for them, and specifically Google OS based machines, would work great.
Don't have to worry about anybody trying to BitTorrent on the library machines or anything.
And it would work perfect as long as there's some kind of memory system, which I believe there is, in which they could log their software. And by that, I mean all the library machines run off a security software called Siberian. Well, in Pittsburgh.
That sounds so awesome for 1999.
Yeah,
By the
right.
way, Siberian.
But I mean, what it does is it brings up a login screen, and you put in your library card number, and it logs you into the machine. And servers on site and across the network determine how much time each login gets at what point in the day. That way, you don't have one guy going in and sitting there for 8 hours on the same computer while there's 12 people waiting in line.
Please go to on the machine. You can pull up cybrary.org. You have to see this dancing mouse gif we just came across.
I love it. I love it because it's a GIF.
What is it?
cybrary.org.
Yeah.
Did you Google the software?
CYBRARY.
I don't think we found the software per se.
No, this is not the
this
software.
But it's pretty.
Look at the rat, though. He's
Look
so
at the
happy.
rat. We just went down a true rat hole. Look at him
looks
go.
He looks like a rejected character from Garfield and Friends.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm waiting.
Cyber.
The chat room says that it sounds like a DC villain, an 80s heel wrestler, the Syrian librarian, Robin, who is that masked android tearing around Gotham.
He calls himself Siberian Batman.
Cytherian
Batman.
But we got the bouncing. We got the dancing.
Batman.
Got the dance.
It looks like
dancing.
Pinky.
looks like
Check that out
Pinky.
if you're on audio. Go check that out on the video version here.
Incredible.
Anyways,
let me ask this,
Sure.
because we're talking about these Chromebooks for business. Why? What is the what would the benefit be of going with a Chromebook over a regular netbook if you're going to give, or not netbook, I'm sorry, a regular laptop?
Windows.
Yeah.
Windows, Macs.
Yeah. What would be the benefit of just
comparing it to a regular laptop, there is no benefit.
Okay.
If you want a laptop, get a laptop. This is not the machine for you.
Yes.
If you want a netbook, this might be the machine for you.
I don't know if you can qualify these as netbooks though, because they're more expensive. That was the thing. That was the weird thing. They're priced more expensive than netbooks, because netbooks were usually $200 to $300, and they're smaller form factor. I think the advantage is tech support. I don't have to worry about all the ins and outs of Windows. Everything's being taken care of in the cloud. You don't have to worry about. Say you give it to a student.
That cloud space costs money.
The cloud space, yes, the cloud space costs money, but that's why you're, as a student, paying $20 a month for 3 years.
Right.
Do the math, what's also paying for that? It also paying for that, and the fact that your operating systems on both your phones here, Android phones, are free to HTC to, what is that?
What?
Motorola.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pay Google for. Google doesn't make money off of Android. Google makes money off of you using it, and they get the data and they get the ads served out. Motorola gets money, but they made the device.
They bought their unit.
Yes, I mean they want the Chromes out there, and then they're giving you, and there are pay services like we're saying with the business apps. But they're giving you this space. They're giving you how many gigabytes of Gmail, and you can upload stuff on the Google Docs and everything. So they can run those ads across the top of your screen. So it's not like it's free in the cloud, But I think I think
you're paying, and as I was saying,
you're paying
before,
with your data.
No, like I was trying to get to, but you're paying for the ability to use Google Chrome on a netbook. That's what it is. Have you used a netbook? They're not that great.
But I don't think I don't think
I've used them before.
I don't think they're spec'd as netbooks either. I think they're a little higher spec'd. I mean, they're not running like NVIDIA 3D graphics or anything. But I think there's still a lot of potential there, and this is only the first wave of hardware. Aside from that, they also have the Chrome box, I believe it was. They're going to have like a desktop version of this. I'm thinking like a Mac Mini kind of thing.
Wait, that makes even less sense than netbook.
Does it? Okay. Your mom's pretty proficient in
Bring my mom
things.
into it.
She's on Twitter, fan of 48. She's great.
Sure.
She's not a good example for this. But because she knows she can figure out the machine set. No, okay, never mind.
No, she has two computers. She has what she uses for whatever, and she has a it's kind of like a down laptop that she uses for work, and she hates that thing because it's scaled down. She's always saying, why can't they just get laptop to use.
Well, and then what does she do on that? She's mostly online. I mean,
It's,
a lot of people, just like how, I think you look at like the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
How much stuff and how much people is an iPad enough for to get done their day-to-day computing use? Content. Maybe they're writing. I got a keyboard for it now. Thank you, Chilla. This is the device for you to check out your Facebook and everything. Why can't a Chromebox, a Chromebook be the equivalent of an iPad for people that still want a keyboard? Why can't I get a Chromebox for say my father instead of another computer that's going to frustrate the crap out of him to learn Windows again? Because you have a browser, you can surf the internet, you know how to do that. You don't know what you're looking for, type in the address bar. It's a search bar too. And I think it simplifies things for them, and then they don't have to worry. Did we have a discussion here where somebody didn't realize, and they were saving everything to the desktop and didn't realize it, and there's that, where do go here? Oh, what's my documents? Where did it go here? I downloaded it. Where did it end up? I mean, this people do not get that concept that their files are in a place on their hard drive, and some people just store stuff on their desktop. So Sony's apparently been going online over this weekend. Interestingly, all but Japan. Japan won't let them go online.
Well, they've been having enough problems. They don't want to risk anything else.
Yeah, they're like, no, we've had tsunamis, we've had earthquakes, we've had almost nuclear fallout. The Sony, you're going to get your stuff straight before we get you online.
We have other things to worry about, sirs.
I guess they did have some security concerns, and they were like, you have to prove to us that you have everything up to snuff before we go. Right. And then let you go online.
It's a legitimate concern.
Yes, but in North America,
Sony screwed up.
Yeah.
Baja Blast and neckbeards.
You don't listen to the show, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Now imagine this. Okay. I think it's a smart move by Japan.
Okay.
I don't say that very often. Japan's weird. All right. But no. Okay. So earthquake reactor. You're delocated to let's say a relative's house. Okay. Hi. Some relative's house, okay? And that relative's house gets wiped out by a tsunami, all right? So you're delocated to another part of Japan where, there's no tsunami, there's no anything, and you want to relax and you play some video games.
Some Little Big Planet.
Some Little Big Planet. And what happens?
Yes.
Your Japanese credit card is stolen because the PSN network fails. That's adding salt to a beheading. That's what that is.
Oh, man.
That's not just like salting a wound. That's cutting your head off and salting your neck.
Well, something to help take this thing away. Well, one thing they've been they've offered their PSN members, I think a year to some identity protection services. So, way to go.
Well
I think that's a good move.
Well done.
Sony is footing the bill for you to participate in some fraud protection services, identity theft protection services.
This is what I have to say to Sony.
You can't show that on camera.
Right.
But they're also giving you some games, LB.
It doesn't matter.
No? Okay, now wait a minute.
No, Chachi needs the convincing. I do not.
Now, let's see. Sony would like to sincerely put this is a welcome back package they're doing. The company announced it's letting all PSN and Curiosity users in North America another one of their services. You can pick between Dead Nation, Infamous, Little Big Planet, Super Stardust HD, and a Wipeout HD plus Fury. PSP users, meanwhile, now you can pick two of those. PSP users can pick two of Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, Force, and Kill Liberation. Now, they were talking about this on TNT and looked them up and noticed that these are like $15 games.
Right.
Yes.
They're handing out the crap that no one wants anymore.
Yes, and
or already owns.
They're downloadable, I'm sure, at this point. So I'm pretty sure Wipeout HD was always a downloadable game.
Yeah,
I don't think it was ever on
anything else. Was Wipeout HD a launch title?
I think when they launched...
Little Big Planet was.
Yeah, Little Big Planet. A launch title. How many years ago was that? How deep in this generation are we?
Right!
Yeah, that's...
Once again, that's like throwing salt in a decapitation!
I mean, these guys have been out like a month, and that's supposed to make it okay?
Yeah, no.
No, not at
Not
all.
so much, but...
They stole your credit card and shut the service off.
That's true.
Yes.
Sony just gave the entire network a big middle finger.
A little bit of follow-up from this. Now, from the chat room, Chach, Bobby, well, actually, it went away. But I think it was Bobby F. J. Town was in there, and he was saying...
what, that he just... I'm sorry.
Well, then the Mortal Kombat hasn't had any downloadable content, but he's wondering, like, on Xbox, there's been no downloadable content. Mm-hmm. So he's wondering if that's because they haven't been able to roll it out for the Sony as well. So is that holding up stuff like that? Because they want to throw it out across the board.
Probably.
So
which is just another big finger to America and the rest of the world from PSN.
Mortal Kombat for Sony had that big exclusive Kratos on. So I'm wondering if they had even more exclusive rights to like first downloadable content. Much like Xbox originally got got the GTA 4 stuff.
So you mean to tell me that because PlayStation or Sony screwed up, Xbox users are being punished now?
Well, maybe, but maybe some fall off from that because if they can't distribute stuff
I
like
can't
the normal,
say what I want to say to describe what that is to their users.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Sony has a lot of face saving to do, and they haven't been good at these sorts of things in the past. I mean, we had overheating PS1s. We had read errors on PS2s.
How many PS2s have you owned?
How many PS2s have I owned?
Yeah.
You know what? No. I had a used one, and it never went bad.
Really?
Now, my Xbox, I've had to send back twice.
I've gone through 5 PS2 consoles.
5 PS2
5.
consoles.
And I thought the last one I bought was a slimline one, and it still works. Still works fine. And from an older perspective, this crisis at Sony does hurt me because through PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, I was a Sony fanboy. I loved them. Absolutely loved them, and I really wanted to get a PS3, but they launched at $700,000-$800,000. So I remember it was very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, if you were a Sony fan, how did you not look at that launch sideways, you know?
That's exactly what I did, and that's why I don't own one today. That's why I bought a 360, and that's that. But again, a different perspective. Sony is giving me great incentive to buy a PS3 today.
Okay.
Because one, obviously, whenever their network goes back up, it's probably going to be more secure.
That's been the one thing. Is like, okay, you know, this is the secure one because they're going to learn from their mistakes. We would hope.
Hopefully, yeah. 2, I get 2 free games just for starting. That's great. I wanted to play Little Big Planet anyway. And 3,
no,
it's to existing PSN subscribers.
And I will
You get none of these.
Yeah, you don't get them for joining in. You had to have suffered along with the rest of them.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Well,
you,
either way,
sir, get nothing.
Now, hold on, because no, that's not entirely true. Because you can get a PS3 now for $50.
Where?
Okay, they dropped the prices. You can get them at GameStop for like $100. Before that, you could get them used for $100. Go to MIB Ninja Entertainment, who sponsored the Chachi Plays thing.
ChachiPlays.com.
It's exactly right. Go downtown. I guarantee you'll find one for $50. Used.
I'm gonna go check.
Do it, and if you do,
for
buy it for
$50,
me, and I'll pay you for it.
No, for $50, I'll own a PS3.
Yeah, $50 I think is a small price to pay for me to like. Okay, also at the time I bought a Nintendo GameCube for 2 games, Super Smash Brothers, and Super Mario Sunshine. So I'll gladly.
You need to collect your shines.
I do. I love shines. I love them. I break out that game every year.
Microsoft said at launch it was cheaper to buy a 360 and a Wii than it was to buy a PS3.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't buy a PS3 at launch.
Right. But I mean,
I'd buy.
That's not the one.
I'd buy a PS3 for $50 just so I can play the Little Big Planet
Uncharted.
ones. And
Uncharted.
I would totally play Uncharted for that.
The Metal Gear Solid 4, if you're into that series.
Which I am.
There's hundreds of games that I have to play on PS3 for my journey of 1001. So for $50, I'll go out and I'll buy
I guarantee
PS3.
you'll get it cheap. You get it very cheap. And even cheaper nowadays because all these pissed off gamers are saying, don't want this. Did you like how I avoided cursing right there? I would have cursed right there, but I thought, I'm not going to do that because I'm on the clean show.
I figured, well, you weren't. Yeah, we would have disclaimed you and got it out of your system beforehand. But
yeah,
you were late.
Well,
I was late. That's true.
That's Sony for you.
That's
That's a new button. What else is going on out there?
None. Nothing. We're going to laugh at Sony for the next 20 minutes.
Laugh at Sony. Hey, do you have that one thing up about the cell phone?
I have a cell phone.
Let's see.
You got a new case.
I did.
Chachi.
I did get a new case.
Yes. Why did you get a new case?
I will show you as soon as I find the delicious. There it is. Here. President Barack Obama demonstrated why you should buy a case for your cell phone. And as soon as it loads, I will.
That's awesome. That's a pretty good reason to buy a case for a cell phone.
There you go. There's him dropping his cell phone.
He dropped
getting
his
off
BlackBerry.
of Air Force One.
Yes, he got off of Air Force One, was carrying his BlackBerry, dropped his BlackBerry, and it was fine because it had a case.
Nice.
Now, I recently did the same exact thing, minus the case. So today I went out and I bought a case. And I got a nifty little bonus. Because at number one, it was on sale. Because T-Mobile is having a sale on all GX accessories. So I got it cheaper than it was. It's like a $25 case. I got it for $10. And I got a new pair of Skull Candy headphones because they were also on sale.
Oh, I love those.
For an extra 20% off. So I'm just
I actually own two Skull Candy headphones, separate ones.
But so I bought this nifty little case, and you can barely see it. Yeah, it's clear, and it still there we go. Still allows me to open it, and then you do this
Kickstand. Yeah.
Nice.
Kickstand.
And to put it away, gone.
Boop.
But yeah, I strongly believe that kickstands are the next evolution in cell phones.
All right. While you're on Delicious and we're talking about cell phones, can you pull up that next one about the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play?
No.
We talked about...
because it's Sony.
Sony Ericsson still makes phones?
Yeah.
Well, yes. Well, this is the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play. Finally hits Verizon for $200 on contract. Okay. In stores May 26th, just next week, I think. It's going to launch pre-installed with Madden NFL 11 and The Sims 3. So, so what, you're not happy about this one?
No.
I mean, who is? Who is?
Okay, what?
No,
it's a PSP in a phone. They're going to have PS1 titles, I think, available for it. It's basically, this is just like they're going to be doing the pad, the PlayStation pad and everything.
That'll fail too.
You think so?
I really do. Look, if you're making cell phones and you're not, if you're not Apple, or
later,
if you're not Apple or Google, or to a very lesser degree, RIM, don't do it because it's not going to work.
Right, what was it?
But it's running Google.
The n-gage?
It's running Android.
The n-gage.
Yeah, the n-gage was a horrible idea.
You remember that?
Pull up a picture of the n-gage for those that need a refresh on that. Now, he doesn't remember the n-gage. It was you had to take the battery out. You had to take the battery out to put a cartridge in.
Yeah.
It was just awkward. I think where's my cell phone?
It was a phone
you play
that
it,
was also
but in order to hold it to make a call, you had to talk to the edge of it.
Yeah.
It was so weird. There it is. Well, actually, I think that's the update. No, is that the original?
It looks like the original.
Because I think they had an update to it, and that might be the second generation one. But still, look at that thing. That's such a weird screen to it. I mean, it was like that vertical cell phone screen, like if you had a flip phone, but just like slapped in the middle. Then they had like Tomb Raider for this thing. I can't. Yeah. They had Sonic the Hedgehog. Like a bunch of weird games. Like Wow.
It was
Wow.
like if you took a second or third generation BlackBerry and made it have sex with a Sony Game Gear.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It was
That's right.
so bad, and not in a Nintendo Power Glove way.
Yeah.
Hold on, maybe this was the original.
What you got there?
Horrid as big gross brick. That was the original.
I think that was, yeah.
That's
it's
even worse.
disgusting looking.
Yeah.
There's so many buttons. Remember when like the Atari Jaguar came out and they had a number pad on their
That was
controller?
awesome. Oh man.
That was the n-gage.
Mike, we're not dissing the Game Gear at all.
No.
No, I had a Game Gear. I thought it was
Yeah,
great.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, no. That's why I think this is gonna fail. I'm changing it. Calm down. Hold on. I'm trying to. Oh, I closed the delicious. All right. Anyhow.
All right. Anyways,
but I mean,
you had something to say.
yeah, it's a bad idea. Sony Ericsson needs to stop.
They need to focus because Sony used to do things really well. The PS1, the PS2, they were great.
Well, Sony's a big corporation. I mean, they have a division as in
No,
what?
you cannot use that excuse.
They're more unwieldy than Microsoft.
They have divisions.
They have divisions,
Which means you can't just say they're a big corporation.
Chachi's got
wow.
crazy
Okay.
eyes.
Oh, he does have the crazy guys. Yeah, but they're not as. Look at what they do versus what Nintendo does. Look what they do versus what Microsoft does. Microsoft doesn't make consumer TVs. Okay, and there's a difference in that. You got Sony Online Entertainment, but they always make these weird decisions. You can tell was by a bigger committee that doesn't know exactly what they're talking about in the world of video games.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They have a division that handles that.
Okay.
But the thing is,
Which means the rest of the company needs to leave that division
Maybe.
alone and let them do their jobs.
maybe it's really hard tonight for you guys.
it is.
So much anger.
But they
So
used to
much
be
anger.
Sony.
Yeah.
Sony used to be a very talented company, and I would buy. I like I said, I was a Sony fanboy. I had a Sony Vaio desktop computer. I bought it the year after.
Right there.
Hey, now it's in the
It's
studio.
right there. It's in the studio. I bought it the year I went into college. That's right. 2002. That thing has been doing things since 2002.
That is.
I had it for years. I only replaced it, last year or the year before?
It's not quite as pretty as it used to be, unfortunately.
That's okay. That's all right.
doing
The fact is, it still works. That is the kind of quality that Sony used to produce.
Yeah, and the Vios were the cool MacBook-y things before there was the MacBook. I mean, they were trendy looking. The Vaio, and that was something they did right. But there was also they had weird decisions. Like, I've torn that thing apart, sir. There's some weird stuff in that machine, in that box.
I know.
Yes,
to be fair, I did put some of that weird stuff in there.
No, I mean,
I did mod it once or
this,
twice.
If you look at Vios from this generation, they're really big about them. I'm pointing over here off camera, of course, but there's AV inputs and S video right on the front of it. FireWire before anybody cared.
Yeah.
I think is there a memory stick in this thing? Because Sony puts a memory stick on everything.
There is. That did have
the only reason I own a memory stick because I bought 2 Sony cameras secondhand, and they just had a memory stick in there, and the person's like, yeah, I never really used it. So I have a nice little collection.
But I mean, all right. Will brings up a very good point.
Okay.
Back in 2002, Sony let their divisions do what the division was supposed to do.
Okay.
So it released quality stuff like the Vaio and the PlayStations and the TVs and everything else, and it stayed separate.
Maybe they're missing their Steve Jobs.
I'm not sure
because there has been a president change. I think.
Yeah,
recently,
it would be interesting to see what kind of leadership changes they've had from 2002 to now.
So I think there's been. I think I've heard some news about just Sony.
I don't think that
around.
matters.
There's more to it. I mean, you also got to think it's a whereas I think Microsoft may have more focus because they're based in America. Nintendo is just a smaller company in general, so they can have more focus. Apple, they're focused to a freaking knife edge at this point.
See, Nintendo is focused on one thing.
Games. They're
video games.
They talk about being a toy company, don't they?
Barely. And that's just all stuff based off their video games.
No, I mean they're video games as a toy company,
right?
Not video games as where Microsoft with Xbox and PlayStation are trying to take over your living room.
Right.
You know, Nintendo concentrates on, you know, the Wii was a great success, and yes, it's fallen off because, you know, the technology caught up with them. We knew it was going to happen, but they were a great success with the Wii because they made it accessible.
Right.
They made it was a toy.
Right.
You know, I'm not downplaying the Wii. I love the system, and I really, you know, but it made it accessible and a toy and a plaything. Not what is this monolithic black box that's taking over my my TV stand, and I don't even want Blu-ray. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, you probably had a discussion with somebody around that era that was like, why do I want a Blu-ray player? I got DVDs,
right.
You know?
I still don't want a Blu-ray player because it takes 10 minutes to load.
But then you go back to smart moves by Sony. They had DVD players in the PlayStation 2. And I think they were the only ones in that era that did. Xbox, you had to buy an upgrade to use it. But that propagated the DVD usage.
Exactly.
And the DVD as a format partially took off because he is so ubiquitous with Sony PlayStations, which was the top console at the time. And everybody had it, and everybody already had a DVD player. And they did kind of the same thing with the Blu-rays. Not to the greatest effect, because they are not that on top of things right now.
Well, I think Sony did not anticipate the recession, because Blu-rays are a lot more expensive, and I think the technology would have caught on faster if not for the recession. I mean, I'll pay $60 for a video game, but I will not pay $60 for.
Is that how much Blu-rays are? I'm so out of touch with Blu-rays.
I don't know. I think they range,
and streaming caught up with them.
Okay.
Can I throw out? Speaking of streaming, we talked about Zadiva when Cindy Klosky was on a few weeks ago. I got my invite from them.
Ooh.
$1.99. I get a rental and I get 2 free rentals. I think I want to check out some Harry Potter because it's still on a wait on Netflix, and I have fantastic Mr. Fox been sitting on my stand for about a week and a half, anyways.
Nice.
I don't even know.
Let's talk about some. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What?
I was going to say, let's talk about some lawsuits.
Lawsuit?
That's a great segue.
Are we getting sued?
No.
Oh, Shiza.
Okay.
No, other people are.
Okay.
LimeWire has reached a settlement with the record labels.
Oh, excellent.
At a hefty price of $105 million.
Jeez.
Do they have that much money?
No. I think the guy is selling I think the fellow behind LimeWire is selling his house.
He is selling everything he owns for twice what it's worth.
See, the problem with LimeWire is they didn't, like, when Pirates Bay got sued and had to pay all their fees, their users paid it for them.
Yeah.
Because they gave back to the
Nobody
users.
cares about LimeWire.
Doesn't do that.
And it's not like there's not alternatives. There's something called Views that does exactly what LimeWire did, but to a better effect these days. It's not like without LimeWire, you're not getting your music for free illegally.
Right.
You know? And it's like... And then there's the whole thing of, like, really, do we really think we actually lost $500 million in sales because people were downloading your stuff?
Not at first, but now maybe.
I think it's more than that. I think it's everybody's disenchanted with the music industry, with the crap they put out, with the way, you know, the music industry over the last 10 years, more so, has had a public opinion problem. You know, just like many movie industries money grubbing, and they're charging us so much on at the movie theaters. You know, why are CDs still $20? You know, and there's been that movement to. It's not to say that people aren't buying CDs anymore. They're not buying CDs from you, big guys.
Yeah,
they're going to local bands. They're going to find their music online. How much stuff the nerdcore community is mostly kind of free download stuff, or pay what you want on PayPal, or some other new innovative way. Right. I think it's not that the music industry has gone down; it's that the music industry is more than the big market industry,
right?
Than it used to be, and those new numbers and new artists aren't being included in that big conglomerate. So you're like, oh, we're not making this much money, but that doesn't mean that there aren't hundreds, thousands, millions of little, kids with their garage band taking a little piece of that pot, Well,
and like you said, in nerdcore, as an example, and they're not the only ones to have done this, but rappers Whitey Cracker and MC Lars made an album together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how much you donated for that album, netted you certain things. For free or up to like $12, you got an audio version of the CD.
Mm-hmm.
Anything over 12 was a physical copy and an audio or
Like the
MP3.
9 Inch Nails model.
Yeah, and an MP3 copy of the CD.
Mm-hmm.
All the way up to $1,000 or more, in which, and the website said this, I don't know if it still says it, but anything over $1,000, they would come to your house and perform the album live.
It's awesome.
I
That's
mean,
great. That's awesome.
I don't
really
know how
awesome.
many people actually took advantage
You
of
could
that.
get a lot of people just go in on it and like, happy
Right.
birthday, we bought you a live performance.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, like Frontalot with his last album, you would pay a certain amount, and you would pay a certain amount.
Let's see that face. Let's see that face for the video people.
You would pay a certain amount. You'd get a download immediately, and then they'd send you a physical copy. Same thing with Supercommuter. I know
Right.
this because I did it with both. You know, and it's awesome because you get that visceral immediacy, but you still get the product.
well, even the Beastie Boys, and now that's not the same example because they are on a major label, but depending on how much you pay, you got certain things, and for like $150, you got every version of the CD available.
That's awesome.
I mean,
That's
you got
awesome.
you got an MP3 version the midnight it came out. You got the CD. You got 4 different albums, like vinyl albums of the CD. And then you got all the merchandises
And
merchandise.
and accessibility. John, like it takes Juggalo John in the chat room to remind me that I actually have an album on iTunes. You know, little old me. You know, and I've made my money off of it. You know,
Right.
which was pretty much paid for what it took to make the physical copies of CDs, to be honest. But still, that's, you know,
You could do worse than breaking even.
that's we can say a few $100 that didn't go to the music industry that's losing money, you know, because it went into my replenishing pockets for the CDs I made, you know. But it's that accessibility, and it's that division,
Right.
you know. It's like you know, like we got the story here. DVD shipments dropped 44% in 2010. That doesn't mean they're not making money off of movies. That doesn't mean the movie industry is losing. You know, it means DVD as a format may be out the door. You know,
How much? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
How much did Thor make opening weekend?
I don't know. 38?
Hold on,
38
I'll
million?
look it up.
I thought it was more like 66 million.
It was a ton.
It was a ridiculous amount. They're doing fine.
yeah. And everybody complains, well, they're doing books and they're doing all this other stuff and they're doing remakes. It's like they're doing the safe stuff. You know that they're making
doing
money.
books for years. Almost
Yeah.
every single movie ever made is based off a book.
Yeah. Anymore, yes.
34.5 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
But so they've got to be over in the 60s by now. It's not like they're not making money.
Right.
Yeah.
As a studio, you know. But then Blu-rays aren't doing well. And then you talked about the recession. As far as the Blu-rays, here's my hand. Hi.
Hey.
Hey. Just like, sorry, I was having too much fun with that. Blu-rays, it's not so much the recession, that was when Netflix started to rise. Was around that same time.
We're looking for a bargain. Unlimited movies for $12 a month. Thank you.
So $12, I'm paying $10 a month.
Oh, nice.
I'm paying 8.
Yeah, I mean that was just killing it off.
Yeah.
Killing it off.
I don't need
Why would I
DVDs.
buy DVDs? I buy DVDs in very special instances. Usually when it's based on a comic book.
Right.
But legitimately,
I'll
Dark
buy-
Knight. I just bought Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It was the last DVD I bought.
Movie. I'll buy a DVD if it was a movie that I absolutely loved, like fell in love with, and I'm like, I have to own this movie
I
because
popped Matrix in last night because I wanted to see it and it wasn't on Netflix because I know they cycle through those.
you know what? I'm gonna go buy the Indiana Jones movies
Ooh. I need to go to those on
because
DVD.
that's something. Well, one, it's something I need to own, and two, they're not on streaming. So
Yeah. You know, Netflix is good. It's like, oh, I got this catalog, but it's like, I knew Batman was on it, but...
No, let's go back though.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
That brings up a very good point. Will just said that he's going to go out and buy the Indiana Jones movies because they're not on streaming.
That's not the only reason.
Netflix.
No. But they have been. They have been.
Oh, it's not the only reason because I'm sorry, Chachi.
No, it's okay.
Because I grew up on those movies,
right?
And I love them, and I don't actually have Netflix, so whether they're on streaming or not,
it's to the point that you don't buy DVDs because I want to see the new Nicolas Cage movie. You buy DVDs because you're a collector.
Who wants to see the new Nicolas Cage movie?
I want to see the new. I mean, I look at DVDs in our collection that we bought because we didn't rent at the time. There was no Netflix. You're like, why in the world do I own a copy of Snake Eyes? You know why? Because it was $5 in the bargain bin, and I was looking for something to watch. I mean, we used to toil through those bargain bins back in the day, right, Chach?
Right.
And just be like, oh, this is $6. That's a steal because they were like $20 at the time. And then you're looking at like, man, I could get rid of half of my movies. Keep the stuff I like the Indiana Jones stuff for you, or I'm a big fan of the Ninja Turtles movie. Sorry, I mean the Ghostbusters, the Batmans, the V for Vendettas, the Matrix trilogy. I mean it's that's stuff that I really enjoy and will pop in and know I will someday. Man, I want to watch that movie. Just decide, man, I've got a kick for wanting to get the Matrix. Yeah, I'll watch it on Netflix because it's like, well, it's HD. That's kind of cool. And I can just pull it up, But if it's not on there, that's okay because I have it. And then I also look at Netflix, the way it's cycling through movies. I'm starting to look at Netflix like I do HBO, but a whole lot better. Because they have a lot more variety, but what are they offering right now? Because you go to your recently updated, like, oh, look, this is on here now. Let's go check that out. It's what?
No, go ahead.
I thought you had a reaction to that.
No, not that.
But
I'm still back.
But it's a steal for what you're paying for.
I'm sorry,
no,
Chachi.
Okay.
That's my bad.
All right, well, no, go back to you, and then we'll move on.
But it brings up a good point because Netflix has the ability to dictate what you're going to buy on DVD.
Yes. No,
it's not yes or no.
Okay.
It's yes.
They're something I would buy eventually, but you're right. If they were on streaming, that would satiate my desire to watch them.
You know what?
Now.
You know what? Let me throw it devil's advocate at you. I discovered a film. This one film called Ink. That I would never have been exposed to. I actually read up on it afterwards. This is one they released on BitTorrent a year or two ago, and to generate buzz, they stayed out of the studio system. I would have never found that movie otherwise. I would have seen that cover in a video store and be like, what the hell? Because you look at the cover, it's not what you expect. It's a fantastic movie. I recommend people check it out. It's about like dreams and the people that give you bad dreams and good dreams. It's very kind of fantasy and musical. It's a really cool flick if you're into good photography and everything. But I really kind of want to own that on DVD now. It's this opportunity to expose you for at the bulk at this Sam's Club Costco price of DVDs. And now I'm exposed to these new flicks that I haven't checked out. Or I flip through and be like, oh, I remember seeing They Live on Stars, it's like 12 years ago when I first had to say, oh, let's check out some Roddy Piper. And I showed, my father-in-law who'd never seen that before. And he really dug it, Maybe he'll go buy it because I know they don't have, they go buy a bunch of DVDs because they don't have much on TV and everything out there, So I think there's a lot of more opportunity there, and it's a shift. So on that note,
I disagree.
Judges said I disagree, and moving on.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
I said good day.
All right.
Speaking of good day.
Good day.
Yes.
We've had some technical issues, and that's just because Will's back in the studio.
Yes.
So we didn't really have a proper introduction for you, so we'll have a proper outro for you.
Okay.
You started with me on WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You join me just about every week there.
That is true. That's very.
Yes.
I've been doing that for however many years that we've been doing it.
Well, over 5.
Over 5,
yes.
And it's been a crazy ride. We started out doing a live cast, and now we teach classes on how to do the crap that we do.
Yes, and now we have like studio and cameras pointing at us. And
yeah, I love that you have two different cameras. It's great.
Yes,
camera 1 and camera 2. But yeah, I'm also a blogger and I'm a writer and I do things here and there. I love being on Twitter and being part of the whole digital community for what it is. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Explain what you're doing with ThoughtfulRiot.com. I'm a big fan of what you're doing. Other people in the community are big fans of your writing there. That's interesting. And say it quick.
Okay.
Because apparently,
basically what I do is, and then it turned into I was trying to post or something like that, and I started posting haiku and people loved it, so I ran with it and it's become this big thing. I'm actually in the process of releasing a book that involves the haiku. Yes. So I'm very much looking forward to
it. Check
it.
out thoughtfulride.com at DJ Lunchbox.
That's me.
Chachi, you're over at chachisays.net.
Yes.
Go check out what's going on with him and his stuff. And Unsung episode 2 should be out next week.
Yes.
Over at PittsburghOn.org. I'm Sorg.
Yes.
At Sorgatron on Twitter, Sorgatron.com. See you guys next week. AwesomeCast. Stay awesome, people.
I'ma crush it. Call me the golden boy.
Unsung will bring you the stories of the Pittsburgh community, stories from non-profit organizations that are making it a better place to live, and the individuals that are doing good for our neighbors. Tune in to PittsburghOnVideo.org.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Hold on. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Hold on. Hold on.
Woo! Okay. You want to try it again?
Yes, in 5, 4,